Good evening, everyone. So it is Oscar night 2024, so I'm here to be your bartender. I don't know if you can zoom in on the bow tie there. It's my official Martini bow tie. So we're looking for a drink that has some connection to this year's Oscars, and one of the talked about things among cocktail people is that the movie Oppenheimer features a scene with a dinner party where Robert Oppenheimer makes his famous Martini. And this was at Los Alamos in New Mexico, where they were building the bomb at the Manhattan Project. And so they had to work with whatever they could get there. Probably not easy to get, high quality cocktail ingredients in the middle of New Mexico in the 1940s. So we don't really know what kind of gin they drank, probably whatever they get their hands on. But the biggest thing that makes this unique among martinis is that he would rim the glasses with a mixture of honey and lime juice. So I've got my martini glasses chilling here. I'm gonna set up my rim here. It's just enough to rim the glasses. Get some, I'm just eyeballing it because who knows. I'm sure he had a formula, something based on the theory of relativity or who knows what. And the other hallmark of this drink is his ratio of gin to vermouth. So it's a standard martini, just gin and dry vermouth. But his recipe apparently called for 4 ounces of gin and a smidgen of vermouth. If you go to Los Alamos, there's apparently like a museum or some type of remnants of the lab out there, and you can actually buy an official Oppenheimer Martini glass that has the recipe etched into it. And the recipe calls for a 16-to-1 ratio of gin to vermouth. So I've got my glasses that have been chilling with ice here. I'm gonna get rid of the ice and we're gonna rim them in our honey and lime mixture. There's one. And there's 2. And then the other thing, somewhat debated, whether he liked them shaken or stirred, and the consensus is that he made them shaken. So I'm gonna do that as well, despite what people say about you shouldn't shake a martini. So his recipe called for 4 ounces of gin per martini and a 1/4 ounce or a smidgen of dry vermouth. There's 4 ounces. I'm going to run out of my Plymouth gin, but luckily I have a backup. So I'm sure this happened to Oppenheimer out in the middle of the desert. You run out of one gin, so you bring in the backup, right? So here is a local, I had Plymouth to start, standard British dry gin. And here is a local Vermont product from Saxton's River, Snowdrop American dry gin. So they're pretty similar. So I don't think mixing them is a problem. It's not going to create
An explosion.
World War III. And then vermouth. Also have a local vermouth. This is Vermont vermouth, dry Zephyr. And we need a 1/2 ounce for our, so 1/4 ounce times 2. There's our 1/2 ounce of dry vermouth. In there. And then I'm gonna shake. So shaking is frowned upon by most bartenders for any cocktail that only has alcoholic ingredients, like a martini. So gin and vermouth should not be shaken. However, Probably the other issue they had out in the desert was refrigeration. It was the 40s after all. It wasn't exactly, you don't exactly have electric refrigerators everywhere, and even though they were splitting the atom, probably struggled to get ice. And to make your martini nice and cold, shaking it definitely works better than stirring it. The problem is that it imparts air, and a lot of people don't like their gin to be aerated and their vermouth. But apparently Oppenheimer had no problem with it. And he was renowned, among other things, for making the coldest martinis, which really require some shaking to get that done. So we're gonna strain these into our martini glasses that have been rimmed with our honey and lime
Do we get olives or
mixture. No, there's no, as far as we know, there's no other garnish other than the honey lime rim. And you probably let them settle out a little bit before you serve them to his guests so that they're nice and clear, because you want your martini to be nice and clear. So anyway,
It's starting to clear.
it is, it'll clear out, the air's gonna clear out in a second. So I haven't seen, what have we seen? 6 out of the 10 movies tonight. Oppenheimer was good. I don't know that it's great. It might win Best Picture. I really enjoyed The Holdovers. That's sort of my pick. I hope at least Paul Giamatti wins for Best Actor, because I thought he was great in that. I haven't seen Poor Things, which everybody's talking about, so that one might win instead. Or American Fiction I haven't seen. That seems like it's a pretty good movie, but I haven't heard the greatest things about him. So, I'm gonna try our Oppenheimer martini.
I like the little honey on the edge.
It's good, yeah, it gives it just a little bit of sweetness. I thought about making it with Bar Hill, which is a honey flavored gin, but I thought that would be too much honey.
That wouldn't be authentic.
I think that's, yeah, it wouldn't be authentic. I'm sure they weren't drinking honey flavored gin out in the 40s. But if you're watching the Oscars, have fun. If you're not watching the Oscars, have a drink. If you're not doing either, just have a good night, and cheers.